Three cup finals this season, not been in one before, so it's quite big for them. Spoke to James earlier and he seems very confident. Obviously been pipped to the post by Portchester this season, but I think 3 trophies, if they can get all 3 cup finals won, is going to be bigger than that league title at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And if I had to ask you for one player to keep your eye on ahead of this final, who would you say?
I'd say Duarte Martins. He's a good winger, and I think that's kind of where the attack comes from this game. Portchester made a change at fullback, and I think that's probably to protect them from Duarte Martins.
Well, it's going to be an incredible game, and we look extremely forward to it.
The time for waiting is over. We're going to pass over to our commentators now, Tom Wilkinson and Toby Chapman.
Start. Thank you, Chloe. Thank you, Zach. And welcome, everyone, to Act 1 of our 2-part showpiece. As the curtain raises, the men do battle this evening. AFC Stoneman, AFC Stoneham, preparing for their first ever final in this competition, propelled by that 91st minute winner in the last 4, face to face with a familiar foe, not just the reigning champions, but the division champions, AFC Portchester. The lineup's going up now. It's a very well-known side, Lee in goal. Nagle and Bainbridge have been almost ever-present so far. Jenkins with the captain's armband, and Martin's feet, and Sampson very heavy-weighted on the goal scorers for the team in purple. This is the moment, everybody. Coming up now, the Portchester lineup. The reigning champions looking to go back-to-back, the first side to do so since 2018-2019 with Havard and Waterlooville. Mothorpe between the sticks. Journeyman Brett Pittman, the number 8, he scored in their most recent fixture. Critically, missing their star man Ryan Pennery, who has 41 goals so far this season, but the front line of Ridge and Brook should be able to catch up and do a very solid job. As we get ready for kickoff, 90 minutes ahead of us. 0-0 the scores so far this season between these two great rivals. But at some point this evening, that deadlock must be broken. Portchester with the kickoff, and we are underway. The Hampshire Senior Men's Cup final already launched forward into the box. Charging forward the Portchester attackers, but snaffled easily by the man in between the sticks. And we build once more, taking a little bit of time. We're backing off now. Jockeying in the midfield, both sides trying to regain possession as best as possible. As Stoneham taking their first little piece of control, but a few loose passes early on, struggling maybe to find the tempo and the rhythm in these early stages. Picked up in midfield. Lovely 1-2 touch now out on this right-hand side. Ball played over the top, first opportunity, but unable to run onto that one and being shepherded over to the corner flag. Still some pressure here being applied by Stoneham. He's running all the way to the byline, lovely bit of skill, but unfortunately runs into his opposite number. So Toby Chapman, 2 0-0 scorelines between these two sides. What do you think will be the difference maker, and what is a very important night for both?
Hi Tom, good evening everybody. Yeah, it's going to look like an exciting game today. As you mentioned, Tom, 0-0 in both the games between these two sides. The defence has been the big part between these two teams. But I think, you know, with it being a final, we're going to want a bit of excitement. I've got a good feeling, because of the results that both teams had at the weekend, winning is in their blood. I feel like this could be a goal fest.
I agree, 100% is Cowan with the free kick. Misses everybody, eluding everybody in the 12-yard box now. A bit of a scrap just by the corner flag to try and gain a bit of control. Appeals for a corner. I think it is just going to be the goal kick. Is it? No, we are setting up for a corner. So the first real set piece of the match, first real scoring opportunity. And this is some early pressure being applied by the reigning champions.
Ball going out. Bailey setting up to take what looks like to be a left-footed corner. Heavily supported by that orange contingent on that side.
Middle of the box. Heads up once, twice, almost thrice, and cleared. Well dealt with by Stoneham. Now looking for an opportunity to try and counter. Smashed forward, but not with a great deal of conviction, and that should go out for a throw. But I think it's been picked up. A little bit lackadaisical on this right-hand side. It is Stoneham with the throw. Trying to maintain a little bit of control in the midfield. Alex Welch moves it back out wide. Searching for options, but all he can see are bright orange shirts. Ball played into the middle. Hasn't quite fallen for the star striker. Still with a bit of possession on the edge of the box. Now pulling out to the left-hand side, but the pass is poor. And it goes out for a throw to AFC Portchester.
Some fast play coming there from Stoneham, starting over on the right-hand side, eventually moving over to the left. Throw-in coming down now for Portchester.
Long throw, trying to maybe create a bit of panic and a little bit of pinball going on. We have got the call for what I think might be a bit of handball in there. And we're going to bring this back to a stop. It's been Martins, the number 9 for Stone, that's caused a few problems so far. Just trying to be that fox in the box, the hero in the semi-final with that 91st minute winner that sent Stoneham into the final this evening. It's been a little bit end-to-end so far, a bit messy at the back, but cleared. Both tries just trying to get a sustained spell of possession at this stage. Martins holding down, now played forward, looking out towards the left-hand side, but it's well intercepted by the right back and turned over once more. And again, big appeals for a foul, but nothing given by the referee. Pinballing once again in the middle. Now Portchester with a chance to attack. Like a basketball game at the moment, end to end, driving forward. Trying to find an opportunity, and that will be a foul. And another opportunity for FC Portchester to try and continue to apply that blowtorch.
There we go, we're getting a bit of a taste of that hostility between the two teams. I feel like there's only one or two players then who weren't appealing for a foul.
And it was the big man Brett Pittman that went down. Only 2 starts so far this season, 8 substitute appearances, but does have a couple of goals to his name on arrival at the team in orange. And Stoneham for the second time in the match going to have to defend a deep free kick. Shouldn't be too threatening for them. It'll be Cowan once again to whip this one in and try and find one of his teammates in the box.
I think it'd be a good call to aim for those voices. I think that contingent of Portchester fans, I think they want the ball going in and around there.
Another pressure point. Just over 5 minutes in, whipped in, it's dangerous, but just past that right-hand post. For a moment, the keeper was slightly concerned, but we are going to have a corner and another opportunity to try and put the team in purple under the cosh. In again, but comfortably dealt with by the Stoneham backline. Now trying to counter-attack, looking over the top. Will it find Duarte Martins? No, it won't. And Portchester regaining possession. These sides, they know each other so well. As we've got another player on the floor. Referee says play on, it's gone out for a throw. No, it hasn't, kept in on the far side. Again, long ball unsuccessfully launched forward. Once again, a little bit of pressure being applied down Stoneham's left-hand side. This seems like the best opportunity for Portchester so far. They're really putting pressure on the left back as it stands. We've already seen one long throw from the Portchester side. Will they try another one? Maybe try and cause a little bit of confusion. No, they do go short, playing it back. Now the ball comes in, looking for somebody in the middle. Heads up. Is it going to fall? No, it does not. Keeper clutching it to his chest. There was an opportunity for Brett Pittman, who was arriving at the back post, but he wasn't quite quick enough to get in, and that's the first real opportunity that either side have had thus far.
That seems to be the real area of strength for Portchester at the moment, working it down that right-hand side. All of the pressure seems to be coming in from there. Likely chances will be started from the right-hand side.
It's going to be really difficult because both of these sides are very used to winning, as have a free kick given for handball taken very, very quickly. Stoneham under the cosh once more on the right-hand side. Can he find the right pass, or is he going to have to play it inside? Surrounded by 1, 2, 3 men in purple. Goes back, goes forwards once more. Now the opportunity to counter, but cleaned up at the back. Now managing to get in behind the purple defence. Heads up, Brett Pittman again in the back post. It's still alive for Portchester. Opportunity. Tries to slide it in under the goalkeeper, but taking a deflection, I think a couple of times in the 6-yard box. And once again clutched by the Stoneham keeper. It's the Portchester massive behind the Stoneham goalkeeper going absolutely mad. They are well up for this one. And as it stands, nearly 8 minutes in, we still sit at 0-0. A bit of a miss kick there in the middle of the park, and that will lead to a free kick. They tried to take it quickly, but I think they're going to have to retake that one. And for the first time in a while, we get a little bit of respite. Yeah,
at the moment to catch our breath, us in the commentary box and for Stoneham down there on the pitch. A bit of a bombardment from Portchester so far, so I think a free kick at the halfway line is a good moment just to take in the occasion and take an extra breath.
Looks like it's going to be Thompson just in the centre circle. Will he play it short or will he go long? No, he is going to go long, trying to find one of his teammates in purple, escaping beyond the Portchester back line. They've still got it, Stoneham, having to recycle it out to the left-hand side. It does take a deflection, and it will go out for a Portchester throw-in. Stoneham unable to capitalise on that opportunity that did present itself. They'll continue this very end-to-end tussle that we've seen so far. The floodlights just becoming visible above the main stand. Martins losing out, surrounded by many, but Stoneham managed to keep hold of the ball. Tussle going on the left-hand side, and referee blowing, and we're going to have another break in play. This is a lot of pressure being applied by both teams, already going it from the outset. Obviously both of the fixtures in the league played between these two sides have ended goalless. We saw a couple of deep free kicks smashed in by Portchester in the opening 5 minutes or so, but Stoneham now with their first opportunity to try and whip something in from wide and create their first meaningful opportunity. Portchester fans singing, maybe mocking their opponents about the league title win. That is smashed clear, but pinballing around once more, still grappling to try and get some control in these opening 10 minutes. You can tell there's a little bit of adrenaline, a little bit of nerves launched in. I think that was Martins, and the keeper was worried for but a moment, but just sail over the crossbar. And that's the first shot on goal that Stoneham have had so far in this game, which is surprising considering they've come off the back of a crushing 10-0 victory in their most recent league fixture.
Goals seem to be coming from everywhere in that match, and it wouldn't have been a surprise if a lucrative shot like that was the bringer of the first goal of the game.
Stoneham just trying to keep hold of this one. A little bit of a coming together on the ball. Goes out for a throw-in, but the men in purple will keep hold of this one. And they've just started to get a little bit of a stranglehold. It was all Portchester in the opening 5 minutes or so. As we say that, the ball's turned over and the men in orange have an opportunity again. Whipped in from deep, but that is going to be comfortably dealt with by the centre-backs in the Portchester box. Not particularly well cleared and recycled once more. They're going to move out wide now. Stoneham trying to find an opportunity. Overlapping is the right back. And just trying to hold it in midfield. We've got that marauding right back run down the right-hand side. Instead playing it inside. Jenkins trying to find the ball in behind. It's not a particularly good touch from Sampson. They've still got it on the edge of the box. Can they try and work an opportunity? Maybe force it through. Is this the opportunity? Tries to play the nutmeg through the legs of the midfielder. Unsuccessful, but once again falls to a Stoneham player. Real battle going on in the box, but Portchester managed to defend that attack. Bit of a coming together once more, and it will be a free kick. And it's Stonem once again that will have possession of the football.
This is the first real time that the ball's come over to where we're positioned over here in the commentary box. Sounds quite aggressive down there, a lot of bits of contact and a lot of aggression coming around. It's good to see that they're both really pushing for it in this final.
Yeah, and the front line for Stoneham of Sampson, Fee and Martin is just starting to create a little bit of trouble. Asking for a free kick, there was definitely some contact, but not enough really to induce the foul. Got it once again down this right-hand side. Seems like the favoured side for both teams in terms of attack. Doing a good job of keeping hold of the ball. It was a lot like a basketball match early on. A lot of turnovers, very end-to-end. This is just a nice little bit of control for Stone. I think they've perhaps got over the nerves of appearing in the final of this competition for the very first time. Very easy to be overcome by the magnitude of the situation. Now this is a prolonged period of possession for the team in purple. And can they try and fashion an opportunity once again down this right-hand side? Ball's going to be whipped in. And the back post arriving. Headed clear. And Portchester will regain possession. But it's smashed out. And I think it's just going to be kept in down on the far right-hand side in Stonem's side. And once again, they'll have to build from the back. Nasty deflection, that one. Almost tried to get the throw in because he smashed it into the shins of the player that was stood directly in front of him. A turnover from the throw, it's not a particularly good one. Straight to a man in orange, and once again, opportunity hit from outside the box, but that was not really travelling anywhere near the goal, and not with a great deal of pace either.
Probably came to his feet unexpectedly. Why not have a go? It's the final after all.
Probably saw his name in lights. Would have been a great opportunity. Get the opening goal of the final with an absolute worldie. As it turned out though, didn't quite happy for him, and they'll have to try and regain possession once again, because it's Stoneham with the goal kick into the centre circle. A little bit of a shoulder involved, and on the floor I think that's Duarte Martins. He's been beaten in a battle between himself and the Portchester skipper. And it's Stoneham once again with a throw-in, left back taking it, and again finds a player in orange. Brett Pittman lurking, but doesn't find him. A little bit of head tennis going on now. Still struggling to keep this ball on the ground. Portchester in a dangerous position if they can just try and get hold of the ball and maybe get a little bit of possession. What we saw from Stoneham a few moments ago, they might be able to fashion an opportunity, but as it is cleared by Stoneham, falls back to the feet of the Portchester midfield, but that is going to be graciously handled, well not quite handled, kept in the feet by Stoneham's number one. And we'll wait once again, thinking about picking that one up. He is now going to go for the goal kick. It's been a real battle going on, hasn't it? It was very end-to-end to start with. Portchester gained a bit of control. Stoneham gained a bit of control back. From what we've seen in these opening 15 minutes, Toby, is there anything that's going to be able to separate them? It's been very even on the balance of things so far.
I still think it's early doors. You can see manager Gav Spurway having a bit of a communication with his player about to take the throw in. It feels like they're both just testing each other out, having a bit of a play. These last 5 minutes or so, each team have had a little bit of sustained possession, being able to work out their little pieces of play. So maybe now that they've tested the defences, maybe they'll have a go at a real strike.
The early jabs, the early sparring going on between the two sides. Still very early in the contest as well, and once again it's a free kick deep in the Stoneham half, trying to exert a little bit of pressure, but unable to maintain the ball. Some sloppy passes going on, and it's Portchester that pick it up deep in their own half. Through to Brett Pittman. His number 9's offside, unfortunately, so he wasn't able to play it through, and that just created a little bit of problem. Trying to find the man running towards the corner flag, very close to the byline. I wonder if it just went out. Does keep it in, but unable to hold on to the ball. And Stoneham get it back, given away once more though. The number of turnovers have been absolutely exceptional, very end-to-end, trying to find the left winger, but the pass, the cross field ball was wayward.
Well, again, Portchester attacking down that right-hand side. I believe it was Wilkins who did a really good job at keeping the ball back in there. Looked as though they wanted to have a go, change something up, go on to the left-hand side, but the ball hit a little too hard, and it goes off for a goal kick.
Still goalless, of course. A third of the way through the first 45 minutes. And once again, feels like we've said this a number of times, it is a Stonem goal kick. The side in purple haven't had too many opportunities up the other end, and it feels like a repetitive pattern of losing the ball. Portchester picking it up, having an opportunity, but spurning it, and that is going to go out for a throw-in. A little bit loose in possession, both sides once more. It is going to be that Portchester throw, trying to find one of his teammates in the middle. Stoneham, if they can try and regain possession, which they haven't done. An opportunity down the left-hand side. Hasn't got his fullback for support. Whipped into the middle, tried to find his teammate, but it was a very good defensive header. It'll be the second corner of the match for AFC Portchester. Another opportunity in front of their home fans, or in front of their travelling fans, sorry, to get the opening goal and break what is now an over 200-minute deadlock between these two sides.
No, that was a really good piece of defensive play there. Bainbridge just getting across the Portchester attacker to header that one wide. This will be the third corner coming in from Portchester's right-hand side. Let's see what this one comes to.
Needs to be more successful than the first two, but it hasn't been, and Stoneham able to deal with it pretty comfortably, headed away, and now an opportunity to try and counter-attack. Sampson found Martins, but there was a foul in the centre circle, and the Portchester players absolutely livid about that one. The skipper coming to have a word with the referee, James Cowan. I think he is potentially producing a card there. Just have a little look at the replay as it comes back out. There are a couple of comings together, and it was a little bit late there. Duarte Martins, a bit of a passenger, unable to do anything about that. And Stoneham will have a free kick once again. Seems like a bit of a pattern. It's corners for Portchester, free kicks for Stoneham, but neither side thus far able to find the back of the net. And we are nearly 20 minutes in, and there is a card produced. It is not for the captain. It is instead for Ryan Wilkins.
I feel like if anyone was being polite, Tom, I think that's the gates open. The reaction from that, both from the fans and the players, it seems like everyone's getting quite alive and after that challenge.
They're so familiar with each other, as we've said a number of times. Portchester playing head ball once more, trying to get it, and this is an opportunity now because the Stoner defence have been caught short. This could be a chance to open it up. Plays it across, big mix-up in the box. And it has gone out. How has that ball not found the back of the net? You'd have thought it'd have been magnetised to the net. But as it happens, went past the right-hand post, and Stoneham, it was a comedy of errors, but somehow, some way, they managed to guide it past the post and keep this match at 0-0.
Now we're on. Now the game's going. I think it was Welly who tried to clear that one. He cleared it into his own man, Thompson, very nearly going into his own net. But Lee was very grateful when he saw that ball go past his post.
Yeah, it came off the bar as well, so ping-ponging all over the show. You just got to forget about it now. That was the biggest opportunity that either side have had so far. So you're trying to make hay down this right-hand side, battling very, very hard. Almost managed to get beyond his opposite number. But Stoneham recycling it. I think that did just go out. The Stoneham fans are absolutely livid with the decision that's been given. Portchester fans, rather. And it's going to be a Stoneham free kick, I believe, there. Lee, who's had more possession than I think he would have expected going into this. Taking another free kick, trying to make inroads into this half, but very well dealt with by what I think is Josh Clack out there on the right-hand side. Thrown for Stoneham once again. It's a searching ball, finds Fee, unable to control it, but they've still got hold of the ball, Stoneham. Running over to the byline, plays the ball across, taking a deflection once and then headed clear by the Portchester centre half. There's going to be another throw in deep in the half of the side in orange. The reigning champions, not for the first time in the last 10 minutes or so, are under the cosh a little bit. And it's the side that have been closest to them in the Wessex Premier Division that are causing concerns. Haven't won any of the last 4, have Portchester in this tie. They'll be hoping to arrest that little poor record that they've currently got. Still marauding down this right-hand side, trying to fizz the ball in, taking a huge deflection. And there will be another throw-in deep in the half of Portchester. Stoneham really starting to lay their cards down on the table and making some very heavy inroads into the reigning champions. Battling very, very hard off the ball. The referee not happy with that one. And we'll once again have stoppage in play, and it'll be a Stonem free kick. Fee's down there, potentially the one to take it, although Ash Wells is in the vicinity as well, but he's just strolled away. And it will be Fee that smashes this one into the penalty box. 22 minutes on the clock. Portchester very recently had a huge opportunity to take the lead, as it's now going to be Stonem's turn to find the first goal of the match. Keeper comes for it and keeper claims it. Very well done indeed, because he was under pressure, wasn't he, at the back post?
There are a lot of bodies there. He did very well to get through that big collection of players and get his hands up there and be able to get that ball comfortably. Maybe had the opportunity to start a counter-attack, but very sensible to keep hold of that ball and let his team reset.
And one side will have to build once again. That was looking for Duarte Martins through the middle, but if in doubt, kick it out. It's clearly the message there from the Portchester back four, because that has not only gone off the ground, that has gone out of the ground. And we're going to have a break in play whilst the ball is recovered. This Fee on this right-hand side, losing out after another poor throw from AFC Stoneham, but recycled in the middle. Head tennis the game once again. We're asking for handball, but I don't think they're going to get it. It's Samson that goes down. It's a free kick, and it's in a dangerous position, it has to be said. Portchester players once again unhappy with the referee's decision, appealing that it was most certainly not a foul. But this is a great opportunity, a huge opportunity for the side in purple. Who's going to take it? I'm not sure. Duarte Martins currently has the ball, just nestled under that left shoulder of his. Fee's there as well. And Martins walking away, so it'll be Fee, as it was a few moments ago, to take the free kick with this. This is in range. This is an opportunity.
This is in striking range. The Portchester players were not happy with that challenge, and it seemed that they feel that they've had things, these 50-50 chances maybe not going their way. So the emotions definitely being felt up here in the commentary box.
Portchester fans are going to have to sing a little bit louder, because their side are very much under it as things stand. Continually end-to-end, but Stoneham now with a huge opportunity. And there is a gap and a chance. I think he will take that chance. Fires it in, but straight into the stone wall. It was on the edge of the box, but picked up on this left-hand side. Trying to dribble around his man. He's turned the jets on for the right back. Able just about to see that one out, and it will be a goal kick. So the attack has been repelled, and once again we retain the status quo, and we are still at 0-0. Found a small opportunity there. Just sniffed the chance maybe to try and sneak in behind the Stoneham backline, but they were alerted to the situation. And in the end it was snaffled up by Lee in between the sticks. The battles for possession going on, trying to take it inside. Lovely bit of skill, and that is well and truly offside Brett Pittman. And even though it was saved, it's not going to matter. Able to get the shot off, but it was a couple of yards in front of the centre halves.
That free pass seemed to catch everyone off guard. So yes, if he was maybe just a step or two back onside, we could have been running away, and we could have all been celebrating the first goal of this cup final.
And he didn't quite catch it, as we know Brett Pittman famously can catch it. And if he does get hold of one of those, watch out, because the net could be seeing a bit of damage going on. Free kick taken after that offside decision. Lee trying to find one of his men, pinging around. I think that might have touched the hand, but Stonem have managed to regain control of the ball here, and this is a huge opportunity. Laid off, and in underneath the arm of the goalkeeper. The reigning champions fall behind, and it's Stoneham. They're second to Portchester in the league, but they're first to Portchester in the tie.
What a goal! A great bit of movement down the left-hand side. Little intricate passes. It seemed as though he just passed it into the bottom corner. What a finish! What a goal!
It all got a little bit messy. It came from that offside call, lumped forward by the keeper. And it was just snuck underneath the outstretched arm of Mothorpe in goal at his near post, I think. It was a lovely little play. Just laid off for his man that was arriving. Tucked in nicely, wheeling away in celebration. And Stoneham, their first appearance in the final, and they lead the final for the first time. Portchester have been under pressure, significant pressure, for a prolonged period. And they're going to have to find an answer now.
Ooh, here we go.
Ooh, Martins kicks it, but it's getting very rowdy out there now. We are going to bring it back. What a chance, what a chance. Clinical, the word that comes to mind.
The phrase that I often think about is when is a team most vulnerable? Right after they've scored. But by the looks of that, Stoneham could have gone and made it too, but the referee's call stopped that run of play.
And you can just tell the tension's building between the two sides, starting to get a little bit feisty. We're seeing a few more collisions on the ball and off the ball, as Portchester needs to try and get some control. They've got the experience, they've been in this position before, not just last year being in the final, but they've had trials and tribulations they've had to get over in this run to the final. That is well dealt with by the Stoneham defence, and they're going to try and make the most of this opportunity because the right back's been caught out of position. Can they find Martins? No, they can't. And smashed to safety by the Portchester back line. Stoneham with another throw-in. That must be coming up towards double figures for Stoneham throw-ins, in particular down on that left-hand side. But a lot of them have been wayward throw-ins. This one, once again, does not find its target. Portchester with an opportunity to regain control. I'm surprised that's not a free kick. It is given as a free kick. The defender brought down by the attacker running forward. And that was a missed opportunity because Portchester, they had an inkling they could try and break through this unbreakable Stoneham defence, because it is 5 clean sheets on the spin for Stoneham, and they scored 10 goals in their last game. So if you look at that, they're almost the perfect side. Smashed clear once more by Lee, who's had a lot of touches. Claim for handball, but not interested. The referee, and that is going to be offside once more. Not Brett Pittman this time, it was Connor Duffin that found himself beyond the back four. It was a little bit too early, and that's a couple of times now. Maybe just the nerves, maybe just the occasion, getting to these Portchester attackers, not quite timing their runs right, and finding themselves offside.
It's been quite nice to see that maybe a few of these chances where they've been going back to what they've been learning on the training field, maybe they haven't broken through, so a little bit of pizzazz has come in a few times for Portchester, and with those chances, if they were onside, we could have been seeing a few more chances from them.
Chance again, Stoneham trying to make inroads now down this left-hand side, shooting from just inside the box, but the power and the direction was not there, and it was easily snaffled by Mothorpe in between the sticks. And now a little bit of confusion in the Stoneham back line. Collision between Duffin, who's trying to get in there, but he was being held off by Thompson. And in the end, once again, the ball finds itself in the palms of Lee. Searching for an opportunity, begging for it on the right-hand side is Ash Wells. He had a miss. Ash Wells still begging for the ball on the right-hand side. If he doesn't find him, they go back to go forwards. I think it was Martins there that couldn't quite control it. Yes, it was. Goes out for another Stoneham free kick. Not free kick, throw-in, my apologies. in this area. They've had a lot of success. They just need to try and make some more inroads. They could find themselves 2-0 up because Portchester, as it stands, haven't really got an answer. And the 1 or 2 opportunities that they have managed to fashion, they've been offside.
That was a yellow card there for goalkeeper Mo Thorpe. He's been pretty upset ever since they conceded that goal, and I think his comments have now earned him a yellow card.
Experiencing the wrath of the referee. Throw-in taken by Ashwells on this right-hand side, trying to find a way to break into the box. Still batting away. He goes down under the pressure. It's a lovely pass to find Duffin. Moves it out wide, but that pass is not quite as lovely. And it's turned over and driving forward now. It's Duarte Martins, was it? Wow. That is some sliding challenge to get rid of that ball. We won't be seeing that for another couple of weeks. We're going to have to get another one installed. But it will, of course, be another, I say it again, reiterate it again, another Stoneham throw-in deep in the Portchester defensive half. They need to be more accurate with these throws. Does manage to find the required target. Goes back to said throw, but that pass is loose. But that touch is loose. It's all getting a little bit scrappy. Picked up by Portchester. The touch from Brett Pittman is not ideal at all. And that's now taken by the Stoneham defence. Pinging around again. Long ball after long ball. It's going to be a throw-in again. Broken record now. Stoneham throw-in. We're probably getting close to 15, maybe even 20 throw-ins, which we've only had 33 minutes of the half. That is a significant amount. We're averaging, what, 1 every couple of minutes? That's the pressure that Stoneham have been able to apply on the Portchester back line.
Something a little bit different this time. It's a throw-in for Portchester.
Well, a new experience this week, begging for it. Out on this left-hand side. And it does find Brooke. But he has limited options to work with and having to play it back into the centre to his centre halves. Cowan in there deep, trying to control things as the captain. Launched forward. It does find its target. Ball played into the box. Brett Pittman's arriving. Deflected. And Stoneham take control. That's a bit of a loose pass, and there's a coming together between 2 Portchester players. Still down on the turf. Another coming together, getting very, very aggressive. You can tell what it means to the players at this stage. Battling very, very hard. Picked up again on this left-hand side. It's going to go out to Brooke. Now back inside to Cowan. Going to try and fashion an opportunity. Looking for a searching ball, but that's comfortably dealt with by Stoneham centre halves. And Cowan gives the ball away. They just need to try and get some sustained pressure. Welch tripped off the ball. Fee picks it up though, picking up the loose ball, but losing out. Battling very, very hard is Harrison Brooke, just trying to get his side back into it. Grabbed this game by the scruff of the neck, launched forward, but doesn't find the target. And once again, you know it, is an AFC Stoneham throw.
Take a breath there, Tom. Wow, what a piece of play we've just seen from that. I've got to mention the control of the ball by number 10, Marley Ridge, to control that, to get the ball back into Pittman. It's a shame that the chance didn't come off with a goal, but some great play there from Portchester.
And the first real opportunity they've had since that one crashed the crossbar, with that little bit of a mix-up in the Stoneham box that eventually saw the ball trickle wide of that right-hand post. And like we said, just need to get some control, the reigning champions, the Wessex Premier Division champions. This would be 5 games if they lose this without victory against Stoneham. Still a long way to go, of course, and still 10 minutes at least to go in this first half. Portchester, well, that's poor. And I think that's a little bit silly out on that side. And Duarte Martins is allowed to run towards the byline, cutting inside his man. Finding Fee in acres of space, and he eases his way in. Goalkeeper rooted. And that is 2 to the good now. And what's your response, reigning champions? Number 10, Owen Fee.
It's another goal that's come from a Portchester mistake. I don't think anyone was expecting that counter-attack to happen, but some real great composure there on the wing by Duarte Martins. He's able to get the ball back. Fee, 1 touch, pops it in, 2-0.
And I wonder if the keeper was just slightly distracted by some of the defenders that were in his line of sight, because it wasn't particularly far away from his right arm, but was rooted to the spot and allowed it just to pass him by. And Owen Fee doubling the lead for Stoneham. And now we're going to see what AFC Portchester are made of. They've been behind multiple times in this competition. Remember back to the quarter-finals against Havant and Waterlooville. 84 minutes into that game, they were 1-0 down. By the 87th minute, they found themselves 2-1 up and heading through to the semi-finals. But both of the goal scorers, Howes and Pennery, are not on the pitch as it stands. So it's going to have to be somebody else that is the hero. And like we said earlier, that opportunity to try and become the first back-to-back champion since 2018 and 19, seemingly becoming that much more difficult. And Stoneham, they've just been so controlled at the back. Portchester have been significantly more wayward and much more loose in possession, and that's what cost them.
And there he is, the goal scorer. Maybe he can start a counter-attack here for Stoneham coming up on the right-hand side.
He certainly can, because marauding down this right-hand side is Ash Wells, still going, fires the ball in. It was very close to finding Martins, who was going for the diving header. It was mopped up by the Portchester back line. Cowan finding it, smashing it forward. But Duffin was not in a position to try and catch hold of the loose ball, and recycled all the way back to Lee in goal. And I think a little bit of time wasting going on there, picking up the ball. Having a bit of a tete-a-tete potentially with Portchester's number 9, Duffin, who was coming in maybe just to say hello, give him a greeting. He's got to concentrate on trying to put the ball in the back of the net, because his side find themselves 2 goals down with less than 10 minutes to go in the first half. You can see breaking through now. His feet again been so lively in the last 15 minutes or so, taking on his man. Will he go inside or outside? Comes inside, trying to find the opportunity. It's deflected, calling for a handball. It's an open goal. 1, 2, 3 goals. AFC Stone and Portchester, well, they're not just up against it, they're down on the canvas. 3 goals to the good in the first half, and the reigning champions capitulating in front of our eyes.
It looks like it's that man Martins, the man who's made the 2 goals. All of his hard work now has now led him to a little bit of success. Great finish there. Stoneham 3-0 up.
And it was a complete calamity in the Portchester box. I'm not sure what led to the situation where Martins had a complete open goal, but it was Fee once again starting the move, marauding down that right-hand side, fashioning the opportunity, putting the Orange defenders under significant pressure. And who would have thought this? The reigning champions, the Wessex Premier Division champions, finding themselves 3-0 down to the maiden finalists.
5 minutes to go left of this first half. Those Portchester players, their heads are a little down at the moment. Maybe there could be something just to sweeten up that half-time talk.
And you can see from the exasperated looks on their faces, they don't know what's gone on. I think we spoke about the first 2 goals coming from mistakes. I fancy that came from a mistake as well. They've got to try and get 1 before the half-time whistle, you would imagine. If you get a goal now, make it 3-1 going into the second 45. You've got an opportunity. The skipper, James Cowan, needs to try and rally the troops, really looking for Duffin. There's a big call for a penalty. Referee not interested in the slightest. And how there's more coming together between the Stonem players and the Portchester attackers. Fee in acres of space once more. He's absolutely owning the right-hand side. It's a mistake in the back. There's nobody to try and find their way to the loose ball. I think it was Welch that just played the little knock-on, hoping, praying that one of his attackers was arriving on the scene. As it turned out, the Portchester backline managing to get their back garden in order and seeing it out for a corner, but more pressure being applied by the Perps.
Walster, the man there to deny Stoneham getting their 4th goal. He was the closest man to the line as the keeper ran off. He was able to be quite composed in stopping that ball and knocking it out for a Stoneham corner.
And the Portchester fans, who were very loud at the start of this game, a little bit quieter now, and you can just start to hear the delight, and you can see the grins on the faces of the Stoneham fans, as I think that was Fee once again down on the right-hand side. Fancied his chances from a good distance out. Saw his name appearing in lights, but that one was comfortable for Stephen Moorthorpe. Mothorpe, in between the sticks. He's conceded 3 already, did not want to concede a 4th, lumping it forward, and this is an opportunity. It's Brett Pittman who's escaped in behind, but just too much power on the goal kick, unable to catch up with the ball, get control of the ball, and from one goalkeeper to the next is a goal kick for Lee once more. Who would have seen this coming? 3 of the last 4 finals in this competition have gone to penalties. Just to even get to penalties, Portchester are going to have to pull off some kind of miraculous comeback. Battling very hard in the middle. Martins booting it forward, taking a number of deflections there, once, twice and thrice. Welch now driving forward. The ball goes out once again for a throw-in. A little bit of camaraderie there, nice to see, between Welsh and his opposite number. Ash Wells with the throw. And that is going to be a free kick on the edge of the box. It's Martins that goes down, just got caught in between the legs. The Portchester defender. And this, as we've said a couple of times, this is Owen Fee territory if I've ever seen it. How aggressive do you be now? Do you try and keep your foot firmly planted on the right pedal? We just try and ease off, I guess, because it's going so well for the team in purple. You don't want to relinquish any of that control, because ever since, what, minute 10, they've been absolutely dominant in this fixture.
It seems as though Stoneham have switched back to the gear that they must have ended their last game with. 10 goals in that one, as you mentioned earlier, Tom. 3 in this first half, and at this rate, it could be on for an even bigger goal fest.
Another opportunity. Fee with the ball in, looking for somebody to arrive at the back post, but graciously clutched to the chest of Mothorpe and now booted forward. Looking for somebody to try and make a run in behind, but once again lapped up delightfully by the Stoneham backline. Portchester trying to get a bit of control. They give it away once more. Stoneham with the ball again. Fee plays it inside. And he's managed to get him behind his man. Can he try and continue this lovely run down the right-hand side? The touch is not particularly good, but he has still just about got control of the ball. Back to Ash Wells he go, inside now. To Jenkins, who looked to try and get it back to Owen Fee. He does a really good job of cleaning up his mess, but, well, alert as ever. Another back for Portchester. An excellent interception, and they go forward once again, but they're not going to find anybody out there. Well, Connor Duffin was most certainly not pleased by that. I think maybe that's just a sign that frustration on the faces of the Portchester players. We saw the exasperation after that 3rd goal went in. They need to try and stem the flow and try and find a way to, 1, unlock the key for the first time, and 2, get back into this fixture, because they're relinquishing this crown. And I think Stoneham manager James Phillips is going to be absolutely delighted by the display from his side, because they have thoroughly outplayed the reigning champions up until this point. Still a half of football to go. We're just about to clock 45 minutes. This is the perfect time for either side to get another goal, whether that's 4-0 or 3-1. And Stoneham just want to try and keep that control, but losing it out there. Battle going on in the midfield, and they regain it once again. Lackadaisical once more from Portchester in the middle of the park. Ball played over the top, but unable to get it under control. And that is going to go out for a throw. And that is going to be 2 minutes also of added time. Already 90 seconds into that. And Stoneham, you would imagine, just try and run this clock down, get in at 3-0, and they'll be absolutely delighted. Portchester apoplectic with what's gone on. Who knows, they could even steal a 4th, because there was a bit of a coming together there, but that has been smashed away. An absolute disdain being shown by the fans just behind that. But Toby, how impressed have you been by the side in purple? It was a bit end-to-end to start with, but once they regained control, they have not looked back one bit.
No, you're right, Tom. It did start with Portchester probably having the lion's share of chances and playing the most composed football. Once Stoneham started getting into gear, though, it seems that the shift is completely changed over. Portchester seem to be a bit lacklustre, getting frustrated with one another as well as the referee's decisions. Stoneham seem to be getting their heads over that, playing some very calm football, enjoying each other's chances, and when those counter-attacking chances come, particularly down here on the right-hand side with Fee, they've been getting the chances and at this point getting the goals.
100% correct as well. Now 3 minutes of added time, 1 minute and 40 into that. Stoneham with it in their defence, but under pressure, Portchester have picked it up, and it's Brook down this left-hand side now. What a time this will be to try and get his side back into this contest. Running towards the byline, deflection and over the bar. It will be a corner, a late corner in this first half of football. The Stoneham have done so well in, but if they can just get the smallest of opportunities to get 1 goal back, they'll go into that half-time team meeting saying, we've got 1, why can we not get 2? Why can we not get 3? And who knows, even 4? The corner to be taken on this near side will be one of the last minute, or one of the last opportunities you would imagine that we see in this first half. Taking their time, and there's a kerfuffle going on right underneath the goalkeeper's nose. Portchester attackers trying to put some pressure on. It's gone to the back post, but not the best of corners. And that is that. The reigning champions came into this as favourites, but Stoneham once, twice, thrice in the first half. 3 goals to the good. Who would have seen that coming? A firm talking to needing to be given by the Portchester manager, because the Wessex Premier Division champions, the reigning champions, find themselves in a very sticky situation.
No, the music's playing, you can hear the fans giving out a few applauds to their team. I think that they're all a bit stunned by what they've just seen in this first half. A great bit of display, as you mentioned, Tom. 3 good goals, composed goals coming in from Stoneham. Portchester falling short on their chances and not really being able to come up with the goods in the attacking third.
And you can really tell that they're missing the key man. Ryan Pennery, who's got 41 goals and 41 starts this season, absent from the pitch. And you're really feeling that influence. And they would have been on such a high after the semi-final. Getting past Aldershot Town, a very, very worthy opponent. But maybe just a bit of a hangover from that, because they were 3-0 up, ended up getting pegged back to 3-2. We're under significant pressure late on. But Stoneham, they've just gone from strength to strength and find themselves in a commanding position 50% of the way through this football match. Well, what do you make of that? Zach, Chloe, incredible first half of football.
Hi, and thank you very much for watching along. We have to start with an apology. Unfortunately, due to the start, we had a bit of technical difficulties. Let me just introduce myself. My name is Zach Miller. Next to me.
My name is Chloe James.
Thank you so much for joining us. But what a first half that was. I'd like to start off with, obviously, Stoneham 3-0 up at half-time. Incredible first half. I'm going to start with Jamie. Jamie, obviously, you've been close to Stoneham. Wow, what a first half that been. Couldn't have been any better.
Not really, I didn't expect it. I mean, the previous 2 fixtures, no goals. 3 goals for Stoneham in this game. I mean, before the game, we all thought there could be an upset here, if it is even an upset. But you look at it, their defence is so good. Can you really see them conceding after the way they were so dominant?
I think the player I'm going to mention, you might already have guessed, is Thief, number 10. What a first half that was.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I predicted Duarte Martins, but that level of quality that Owen Fee showed out there, he dominated everything down this right-hand side, and it's something you really do have to worry about as Portchester. How do you stop that throughout the whole game?
Absolutely. And
3 different goal scorers so far as well. Obviously, super interesting, keeping it fresh. There's not the same person scoring all the goals, Jamie. What do you think about that? Do you think there's going to be more goal scorers, or do you think it's going to keep to those 3?
It's difficult because I had Duarte Martins before, obviously. I still think there's a goal for him. I mean, you see it on both flanks, really. I mean, Sampson as well, Martins. There's an attack from anywhere, and I didn't expect Fee to do it today, but you've seen how he has. There's an outlet anywhere, really. But I think there's probably more goals on Portchester's side coming as well.
Speaking of Portchester, I'll go over to Jack. Jack, unfortunate first half for Portchester. What do you think went wrong there?
I don't really know. We started okay. I think Stonem then got into their game, and we. I think, if I'm being totally honest, I'm going to say it, there's some decisions that we feel hard done by. We've then lost our composure. We've lost our sense of go at the game. We should have managed it a bit better. So the last 2 goals have come from us being chaotic and disorganised through being so irate with decisions which we felt were all going one way, if I'm being totally honest.
And obviously you're in the dressing room every weekend. What do you think the manager's saying to them at half-time to get them back into this game? It's a massive game for them.
It is, yeah. I think the message is going to be play our game, ignore the decisions, try and focus on getting back in it. It's easier said than done, because if I was out there, I don't think I'd still be on the pitch personally. There's a few lads that are really getting frustrated, and you can see it, and I think it's starting to tell. Towards the end of that half, there was getting bookings for dissent, silly things like that, which is going to happen when you're getting so frustrated. But we've had a couple of half chances. We had one early on when Marley squared it and was offside. If he goes for goal and be brave, it's a different story. So the final decision may be him, but yeah, ultimately we just need to get our heads back into the game, focus on our performance.
Absolutely, I completely agree. It's going to be a huge second half coming up for Portchester.
And let's have a look now at our at the goals of the game so far in this first half.
Regain control of the ball here, and this is a huge opportunity laid off, and in underneath the arm of the goalkeeper. The reigning champions fall behind, and it's Stonem. They're second to Portchester in the league, but they're first to Portchester in the tie.
Well, I can only apologise for the technical difficulties. We'll come back to... Oh, here we go.
Opportunity is deflected, calling for a handball.
That's the third goal.
Open goal. 1, 2, 3 goals. AFC Stoneham, Portchester.
They just seem to have cut through Portchester there, Jack.
And again, yeah, like I say, that there is, it's come through. Look, that's the third goal, and like I just said, it's come through. That's opened us up easily, yes. And we're not like that. We're not about that. Our defence this season's been brilliant, and it's been a bit too erratic. And again, like I say, it's due to tempers and hot-headedness. We're not concentrating and focusing on our roles, and basically. And I understand, like I said, I've been stood on that sideline shouting myself. I would be in exactly the same position as them if I was on that pitch. So I fully sympathise. Sorry, but like I say, it's 3-0. We've still got 45 minutes. There's no reason why we can't change it around if we get our minds back on it.
Absolutely. Well, you're league champions. You've got 100 points in the league. You're not going to come out the second half and not give a real fight. The reason you're league champions is because in faces of adversity like this, you come back and win. You've only lost 1 game in the league all season, remember. So the message will be clear. You're going to come out fighting.
100%. And it will just be, if we can get playing our game within the first 5-10 minutes and get the key players involved that can cause damage to the Stoneham, then yeah, it'll be a different game. If we can get an early one, you never know, Stoneham might start teetering on the edge, panicking. We might have chances to keep pushing. Like I say, we had a chance early on. If it goes in, it's a different story. It's all small margins, which again have gone Stoneham's way. They've had a couple of good. Don't get me wrong, the 2 of their goals, I say, they cut us open well, but we just need to be focusing on our responsibilities individually and as a team. But yeah, fully confident enough that we can get a couple of goals early on and start putting pressure onto them.
Absolutely. And speaking of the finals, obviously we want to talk about your last cup final, obviously, and we also have a package for that, so we will head over to that now.
Unfortunately, again, due to some technical difficulties, we're going to have to cut it short. But I'm going to go to Jamie instead. Jamie, again, what can you tell us about Stoneham? What's the message for the players this second half to get into their minds of not letting it slip, not losing focus? What does the manager have to do to tell them?
Just remind them how good they were defensively this season. 21 goals conceded in the league in 37 matches. You don't really concede more than, well, you rarely concede 3 when you have that sort of defensive record. And they just have to remind them how good they were defensively this season, to be honest. I think it's so clear that they're solid, and we've seen it so far. I mean, some chances have just been kind of Portchester's lack of one at that point. But you do just think, remind them of how solid they are, and they're 45 minutes away from their first trophy, so go for it.
Well, obviously they unfortunately lost the league to Portchester. They're going to want this more than anyone right now. So the message is going to be clear. They're going to want to win, but Portchester isn't going to give them an easy chance in the second half. It's going to be tough. Might be 3-0, but...
Well, of course. I mean, as a Man United fan and you're a City fan, I mean, you'll remember when you've won league titles and we've got it back in the Cup. And I think this is a very similar moment. You lose the league, but you win it in the Cup. And it's the moment where, I mean, United haven't really seen that sort of turning point, but you hope those moments happen. And with 2 more Cup finals after this, they can go and do the Cup treble, to be honest. And that is so big for a club like Stoneham.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Chloe, I'm going to ask you, what did you think of that first half? Obviously, no presenters, but how did you feel that first half went?
Yeah, so I mean, it was a very exciting half. Obviously, there were some nerves with us and the pundits before, with the both 0-0 with the last 2 times that they have met. So we were a bit worried that it would be a bit of a stalemate again, but obviously, fortunately for Stoneham, unfortunately for Portchester, there have been some goals. So I think it's been a really exciting half so far, and it'd be interesting to see if Portchester can pull it back.
Absolutely. Well, I believe you spoke with the remind me of his name. Sorry, from the FA.
The senior operating officer, Kai Povey.
Absolutely. So when you spoke to Kai Povey, we're going to try and hopefully try and get the interview working with him, because we had him just before the game started. So hopefully we can get that working. If not, remind me of some of the things he said.
There was a lot of positivity around the kind of communal efforts that Hampshire FA kind of put in towards building community spirit, helping with kind of the struggling areas of community, and bringing sport into that, and really providing that sort of positivity around the sport.
Absolutely. Well, Jack, I'm going to come to you. Talking about positivity in sport, how important is it to be positive within a camp like Portchester, where you've won league titles? How is it important to stay positive, even though the situation right now isn't what you want?
Like you just said, we've won the league title, so you don't win the league title by luck. It's gone over a 6-8 month period, even pre-season. 37 games, going to be 38 games by the end of the season. You deserve to be there. You deserve to be league champions. So we've got that winning feeling in us. Yes, that half hasn't gone our way. Can't do anything about it now. All we can do now is go out there. Got a big 45. Like you say, Stoneman scored 3 goals in that 45. There's no reason why we can't. Got to look at the positives. Just take as many positives as we can, and just try and turn the game on its head. And who knows? You never know what can happen. And like you say, winning mentality, it just keeps driving that winning formula. And hopefully the boys come out firing and we get off to a good start.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the difficulty that you have had in the first half, as we've already mentioned, do you think that with the 9 players that are currently out of the squad, obviously including yourself, do you think that that's having any effect on your team today, or do you think it's other things?
The starting 11 is strong. You look at our starting 11; it's a very good starting 11. There's not many you could change. Yes, we have got 9 missing. You could swap any of us 9 that are missing into that, and you're not going to make it any worse or any better. We've got a good 11 out there. It is the fact that, yes, on the bench we are light on numbers. That's on a different day. You've got a bit more options. There might be some big changes happening now. You can't do that at the moment. So yeah, if we had the 9, listen, of course it would be different. But that's the same as Stoneman. They could be having players missing. I don't know. So ultimately, it's the same for both teams. We've got what we've got, and we've just got to be positive and just don't roll over and turn this into an absolute nightmare as such. And the last thing I want is them all to get on each other's back. We've got a big game on Saturday against rivals. Last game of the season. We want to go there and win at their place just because it's our local rivals. We've then got a cup semi-final and then 2 more cup finals. So we've still got a lot to play for. Well,
you got 100 points this season, so even if you do lose this, what an achievement this season. You couldn't have asked for more, really. I know, obviously, if you lose this, it is going to be fortunate, but there's 45 minutes left. You never know. There's a huge chance here, and I wouldn't put out Portchester. But that is all we have time for so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head back to our commentators, Tom and Toby, for the second half. Please check your tickets. You're missing out on a fair water catch. Cheers.
Portchester players strolling back out, and boy, do they need a change of heart, a change of thought, a change of desire, perhaps. The reigning champions finding themselves 3 goals to 0 down after a first half of football that started off like a basketball match end to end between the two sides. But as things progressed, as things developed, it was the side in purple, not orange, that took a stranglehold of proceedings. Managed to punish them 3 times. Jenkins, Fee, Bainbridge, and I tell you what, you could put a very high price on Fee's performance.
He's certainly been the man on Stonem's right-hand side, setting up those chances, having a bit of play. He's had a lot of freedom on that right-hand side. Maybe he will be the difference in the second half as well, adding even more fortune to Stoneham.
The leaders stroll back out as we've got some passing practice going on for the team in orange, and boy do they need it, because they were pretty loose in possession in that first 45. They're going to have to try and up their game, otherwise they'll be dethroned as holders, and it will not be the double that we thought they might be picking up. We thought it was going to be a very even contest. 0-0, both fixtures in the league. It was a 180-minute deadlock that extended to over 200 minutes, but bang, 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 3 goals to the good Stoneham. And they are in the driver's seat as we get ready for a second 45 minutes of enthralling action. And if you're AFC Portchester, you're always saying they scored 3 in one half. Why can't we do the same?
Well, they are shooting in the way towards the goal that's had the 3 goals, so maybe that they'll have a half which is mirrored Stoneham's first half. Yeah, as you mentioned, Tom.
Underway, 45 to go. Portchester. The main target in this first 5 or 10 minutes will be get some semblance of control. They had very little of it in the first 45. They need to try and get onto the ball and keep hold of that football rather than just giving it away, but battling very, very hard in the midfield. But that is another loose pass. That has been the downfall, but it's well recovered from Portchester. And they give themselves an opportunity. It's Clack down the right-hand side. Maybe this is the lucky end of the pitch that you want to be shooting towards. They've given themselves a mountain to climb, but if they can try and do so, they'll be absolutely delighted. That was a potential opportunity, trying to find Marley Bridge, who was coming in, and that was some strike from inside the box, but still unable to break through.
A good curling effort there, yes. Portchester starting this second half on fire.
Boy, do they need to. After what happened in the first 45 minutes, they'll be looking to try and eradicate that from their memory. And if they can get an early goal, they will fancy their chances. They have at times been the comeback kings. We saw it against Havant and Waterlooville. They left it late, but a quick-fire double sent them through to the semi-finals. They've been outplayed significantly. They need to try and do something. Clack's been involved very heavily early on in this second half. Inverting into midfield as Portchester. This is what they need to do. Just get a little bit of control. Keep hold of that ball. No loose passes. Need to be much more controlled, much more disciplined in possession. As they're playing with fire a little bit at the back. Cowan. And now launched forward. Header missed. Clack still trying to get involved, pressing very high at the pitch for a right back. But Martins is going to get there first. A little bit slow to react. Well, say slow to react, the Portchester defenders, but it was a poor ball across from Martins. The support wasn't particularly great either. It's going to go out for a throw. We had so many throws in that first half, all of them seemingly going to the team in purple. But for the first one of this half, it's AFC Stoneham. And insert once more. Long throw. We saw it cause a few issues right at the very start of this game. Welch playing it inside. Sampson to Jenkins. Now all the way out to the other side. Nice switch of play. And finds Ash Wells in a lovely little bit of space. So just... he caught in possession slightly. Back to Wells. Now Owen Fee, who's deep in his deep in the half. Oh, tried the scorpion kick there, I think, Alex Welch. That was audacious, but if it came off, it would have been the goal, not just of the game, goal of the tournament, you would imagine. A bit of a mix-up, claims for handball from both sides. Goes out for the Portchester throw, which I think they're going to try and take as quickly as possible, but they've just been called back. And they are going to have to hand this one over. Trying that. Not quite a long throw, but they tried it again. That is a foul committed by Ashwell. This Brett Pittman that's down, the big man's gone over. And it will be a free kick. Sort of halfway into the Stoneham half. But Portchester have been significantly better in the first 3.5 minutes that we've seen so far. You can see there Brett Pittman just taken out there by Ashwells. He's having a debate with somebody about it also. It's actually the skipper debating with Ashwells. I think he is going to produce the yellow card, and he is. I think that's the 4th booking that we've seen so far. The referee having a good control over the game so far.
No, Portchester have definitely had the lion's share of possession. It's as though Stoneham are allowing Portchester just to have a bit of a play with the ball and stretch out those legs into this second half, letting them have the possession and have a play around. But this could be the first time that Portchester can be getting into that Stoneham box.
And it will be the captain Cowan to take this free kick deep into the half. Can he find somebody? Aiming for the back post. It's dealt with just about by the Stoneham defence. Backing off though. Headed clear once again, picked up. Trying to find, well, look at this, coming around the back post, it's Duffin! Smashed straight into the Stoneham defender, the ball's still alive here though. Whipped in, trying to find, I think that was Brett Pittman trying to get up. And it has. Oh, it was nearly put into his own net, but it's going to be a goal kick. Did just go out of play. And Portchester applying the pressure early on in this half. I think it was actually offside, the call by the linesman on the near side. Yes, it was. And Lee, as we saw a lot in the first half, has possession of the ball in between the sticks.
No, it was well tidied up there by Thompson. He seems to be the man who's eliminated most of the Portchester threats in that first half, and there he was again, mopping up the mess. The offside call was made, but the man was still diligent enough to deny that attacking opportunity.
And it did look pretty tight, has to be said. Obviously the ball didn't find itself in the back of the net, but another opportunity that Portchester have managed to force in the early stages of this second half. Need to find 3 goals in the next 40 minutes, otherwise they'll be handing the trophy over to their great rivals, AFC Stoneham. Goal kick taken. Martins has come up trumps here. Tried to find Samson, who was coming forward. Offside again, I think, is the Stoneham attacker. Not for the first time. Duffin has been offside. Now potential opportunity to attack. Oh, and there's a coming together there. I think that's probably going to be a foul. Referee does eventually give the decision. Absolutely livid Portchester players surrounding the referee. I think it's actually going to be a free kick to Portchester. My apologies, I thought it was in favour of Stoneham. It's the boys in orange that are going to take this one.
No, Tom, I think it's all right that I think half the people here made that mistake. There was a lot going on in that part of play, that bit of play. So no, but it is a Portchester free kick.
Yeah, it was Owen Fee involved. In the end, he was deemed to have fouled his man. And they'll be out for another throwing. 52 minutes on the clock. If you missed the first half, first of all, where have you been? But secondly, it was absolutely incisive and absolutely brilliant by the Perps. Charging towards this one. Keeper got to be alert to the situation and does well of just holding off the Stoneham attacker that was charging forward, trying to arrive on the scene at quite the rate of knots to pick up the loose ball and slot it into the back of the net for what would make it 4-0, but couldn't quite reach that loose ball. And the Stoneham fans just behind the goal now really getting into the thick of this action. Stoneham again, buoyed perhaps by the chants from their own supporters, looking for Samson on the left-hand side. Couldn't quite find it. I think it was Owen Fee with the pass. And that'll go all the way back, recycled back to Mothorpe in goal And if there's one thing that Portchester have done better in the second half, they have had more control over the football. They haven't quite been under the cosh as they were, particularly at the end of the first half. Just playing it out from the back now, but caught in possession, lackadaisical on it, and having to rush to make a desperate clearance. Samson was, well, pressurising him, terrorising him on this left-hand side, and it will be another throw-in for Stonem, their first of the second half, and still continuing to apply the blowtorch on their opponents, trying to, well, hit him where it hurts, I think is the best way to summarise that. Bit of a mix-up there, Martins and Samson almost running into each other, and that is going to go in the favour of AFC Portchester. We've got the offside call, and once again a break in play as Portchester will try and build from the back, and it's actually going to be Mothorpe coming out to take this long kick that he smashes forward. Looking, nodded on beautifully by Brett Pittman, finds Duffin. Can he try and get in behind his man? No, he can't. But that's a bit of a loose pass. Lee just about gets there. I think the free kick given anyway, and a yellow card presented to Duffin as well. Maybe for dissent. I don't know if those are coming together off the ball. Didn't quite catch it. Another card brought out of the pocket of the referee, and it will be Lee on the football once again.
Well, no, they've spent this first 8 or so minutes, Portchester, playing some pretty composed football, but after that chance, another one of their opportunities as they move up the field, denied by a call from the referee. The frustrations may be coming back to haunt Portchester that we started to see at the end of that first half. I think they'll be hoping that that doesn't continue later on into this second.
And that was a missed opportunity for Stoneham as well from the goal kick. It was flicked on nicely, actually, by Ollie Jenkins, as the throw-in going to be given once again. A free kick, sorry, given in favour of Portchester. But yeah, just running into each other with Samson, or Fee in fact, and Duarte Martins. And that attack fizzling out. Ball whipped in, dealt with sort of by the Stoneham back line. But Portchester managing to regain control. Now Marley Ridge, deep, just outside the centre circle. Playing it out wide, back into the middle. Marley Ridge finds the ball once more to his feet. Playing it back to Josh Clack, who was very involved in the first 5 minutes, been quiet recently. That ball dealt with, and now a real battle going on. Duarte Martins try and get in behind his man. Can he use the strength, use the pace? He does manage just about to shrug off Daniel Wolster. Now on this left-hand side, ball smashed into the box, but nobody was on the scene there. And that was easily picked up, easily collected and easily distributed back out to the centre-backs. But that is a poor pass. Just regaining control. Portchester haven't quite managed to sort out the few issues they were having in possession. Duffin. Teammates around him pleading for it, but that is definitely going to be a foul in the centre circle. Still down on the floor. I'm not sure who it was. Was it a kick in the back? There's definitely a kerfuffle going on. Duffin was the man at the centre of it. Still on the ground. He's had the ball smashed into his back also. The referee's going to have a word with a number of players here. And things just starting to kick off, and Portchester getting frustrated, 3-0 down. Unable to make a breakthrough so far. Still down on the turf. Let's have a look at this again. Arms all over the place. It's Bainbridge that was brought to the ground. He's been involved heavily, not just in the first half, but in the second half as well.
No, that has started off quite the frustrations. You've got even the keepers coming off their lines to get involved in this little bit of arguments. I think there was maybe a boot put back in when both of the two players made contact near the centre circle. Duffin a little frustrated, maybe with the way that this game is going. Maybe left a little bit extra on Bainbridge. Bainbridge receiving some medical attention.
Yeah, getting some treatment. He's holding his lower back, maybe just his left side as well. Yellow cards being produced by the referee, I think, to a couple of players. There was definitely some things going on. I'm just trying to have a look at this one again, because it was Connor Duffin involved, who hasn't really had a sniff tonight, has to be honest. And well, oh, and that's a nasty one. It was the boot into Well, the chest really as they came down, so a nasty one for Bainbridge. I don't think it was intentional at all by Duffin, but you know, they had their arms wrapped around each other, clearly unable to get enough of each other off the ball as they battled very hard to try and win it. And there was an opportunity for a breakaway for Duffin to try and get his side back into the contest. But both of them going down. Duffin got up straight away, and thankfully Bainbridge has now managed to get back to his feet, albeit with a little bit of treatment. And we can progress once more. Coming up to the hour mark now, still 3-0 the scoreline, and well, Portchester, they're entering the doors of the last chance saloon now. They haven't quite sat down at the bar, but they're getting very close to doing so. Going to have to find a breakthrough at some point. It's collected by Cowan and back to his keeper. Going to have to maybe try and press a little bit higher up, try and force the issue potentially. At this stage, you're already 3-0 down. You're going to have to take a couple of risks to try and get yourself back into the contest.
No, you're absolutely right, and it appears to be that way. Portchester having both of their fullbacks being part of this attacking lineup as the ball is put in. Oh, and a good chance there.
Well, I think that's the first shot on target that they've had of the entire game. Lee doing well, getting down low to his left-hand side. And that could have been the spark the side in orange needed just to ignite this final. But as it stands, and as it remains, 3-0 the scoreline. Stoneham continue to be in the driver's seat, pumped out by Lee, who's had a good game so far, hasn't had too much to do, but has been good in possession, and now finds itself to Owen Fee. Plays inside to Bainbridge, who's got up. Is he going to hit it from the edge of the box? The final touch was loose, taking a deflection off a Portchester midfielder, and it finds itself back to the side in purple, looking for Duarte Martins in the middle. Calls for handball, and given it was Bainbridge caught out by that one, and Portchester will have another free kick to try and build from the back, and it will once again be Mothorpe that will be taking the long kick. Well, up there it was Duffin, who's been involved very much in the physical side of the game, less so in front of goal. Well, that's a good challenge. Owen Fee coming back, doing some really nice defensive work, turning over the ball. A couple of 1-2s. Now trying to smash it down the line, could only find the side of a Portchester midfielder, but Stoneham picking it up once again. They will have yet another throw-in as we get closer towards 30 in this tie. First substitutions getting ready to be made. I think it's Ash Wells that is going to be making way to Cluett.
Leaving the pitch for AFC Stoneham, number 2, Ash Wells. Being replaced by number 12, Ryan Cluett.
And that is confirmed. Ryan Cluett enters the field of play.
First goal scorer for AFC Stoneham.
And also the first goal scorer. Ollie Jenkins coming off. And instead it's Orvis that makes his way onto the field. Orvis and Cluett have been heavily involved in this competition for AFC Stoneham so far. Orvis finding a goal in the early stages of this competition. Cluett also scoring. Samson with an opportunity to try and battle his way through the Portchester defence. Recycled out. Straight into the action. Down goes, I think that's Alex Welch. Smashed forward. This is looking for Duffin. He hasn't had a shot so far. He's had one now, but it wasn't particularly close. It is going to be a corner. Lee was aware of the situation, able to guide it round that front post. That's the first real shot that Connor Duffin has had so far in this game, looking to add to his 25 goals that he scored so far this season from his 40 appearances for the side in orange.
Yeah, Stoneham caught a little bit off guard there by the long ball, as he was able to get the ball up there though, just touched by the keeper. Now it's the corners coming in.
We've got a lot of tall players in the box, but Stoneham heading it clear, finds its way back to Marley Reach, who was on the edge of the box. Stoneham player goes down. I think the referee is going to have a word here with Brett Pittman, who I think was involved in that one. Is he going to be producing another card? No, it is Brett Pittman. I thought it was Connor Duffin again involved in a bit of a skirmish. Not one to back down from the occasion, Connor Duffin. He's been involved in everything apart from goal scoring so far this evening for Portchester, getting involved in the physical side of the battle. 62 minutes on the clock, and we're getting to the point of no return now. Lee once again with the goal kick. He's been pretty solid in possession so far. Lucky deflection finds itself to Fee, was looking to place that one through to Martins, but intercepted. Stonem regaining possession though. Head tennis, we haven't seen too much of it in this second half. Ball play through, trying to find Connor Duffin. It's going to be intercepted and the pass unsuccessful. Bainbridge moves it out wide, looking for Cluett. Owen Fee has dropped deep once more, trying to just get on the ball and make some magic moments happen. Not for the first time in this game. Martins holding the ball up, trying to battle his way through, but it was Samson that couldn't quite wriggle around the Portchester defenders. And Stoneham still, like we saw a lot in the first half, able to keep hold of the ball. Searching ball in, Alex Welch with the header. Just wide of that near post. It was a difficult opportunity because he was not looking towards the goal, had his back to goal, and in the end guiding it just wide of that near post.
A lot of composure was coming in that build-up play. You can see that the Stoneham players are quite calm with possession, each of them taking just an extra little second before passing the ball on to create that chance.
And Owen Fee again, lovely silky bit of skill to find himself a little bit of space, having to go out to Cluett. Bainbridge now trying to play it forward to the number 10. He's got the better of his opposite number, but doubling up, but fouled. Fee finds himself face to the turf, and it'll be another free kick for Stoneham. Portchester have had a couple so far in the second half, but Stoneham had a few that were dangerous in the first 45 minutes. And if they can make it 4-0, you've got to say that is game well and truly done. There's no coming back for Portchester. They've managed to go through difficult moments, not just in the league, but in this cup campaign and other cup campaigns as well. But is this going to be a marathon slightly too far? Something from the training field. It's Fee with the ball in, looking for Martins at the near post. Defensive header away. Finds what I think is Cluett out on the right-hand side. Back to Fee, who's not in the space that you particularly want. Looking for, well, he's taking a couple of deflections. Down goes Duarte Martins, but the referee had already blown. I think they were lucky that he blew there, because otherwise there's a potential penalty shout. Definitely from Martins and a couple of other of his teammates. Bit of a push goes on in the midfield there as Brett Pittman goes down, and Portchester will now have a free kick in the centre circle. Got to get something going. 25 minutes of what could be their reign as champions remaining. And who are you looking at? You're looking at someone just to try and light something up. Ball play to the back post, nodded on, but Lee is just about going to stop this one from going out. And once again, very safely controlling that ball inside the penalty area. He's been brilliant so far, hasn't he?
Lee has been unbelievable so far this game. Portchester really pushing for that goal now. When that free kick was taken, there wasn't a single Portchester player in their own half. They really are pushing up the field, trying to make any chance that they can when the ball gets in that area.
Flicked on by Martins. He was looking for Fee, but it has eventually found its way to him from distance. Parried by Mothorpe, but in the end it is under control. It was, well, a long ranger from Owen Fee. He didn't quite catch it as he would have liked. And in the end, the scoreline remains at 3-0. Owen Fee looking to add to his tally of goals this season. 11 so far, plus one penalty. Looking to make it 13. And that 13th goal would certainly be unfortunate if you're wearing orange, because that would be the game signed, sealed and delivered and heading back to Stonem. As it stands, Portchester just needs to try and get a foothold in this game, in this second half. They've been much better in the second half. The possession's been better. They've fashioned a couple of opportunities. Marley Ridge dancing his way through the midfield. They've still managed to keep hold of this one. Brett Pittman with a slightly poor touch, but it does find its way back to him. Marley Ridge on the edge of the box is going to try and lump this one forward, arriving on the right-hand side and cleared eventually. A couple of stabs at it, and it's going to go out for a corner in favour of AFC Portchester.
Yeah, a rare occasion there where Portchester seemed to be found in acres of space. I believe it was Williamson who was found on that right-hand side. His attempt to get that ball into the box blocked out, and here comes the corner from captain number 7.
Captain Cowan.
Captain Cowan.
And he needs to try and wrestle back some control for his side. Low corner, low in-swinging corner. Brett Pittman was there, tried to smash it in at the front post. Sorry, it was Connor Duffin that was there. Shot from Clack, went through the legs of a couple of defenders. At the end it was cleared, regaining possession though in their defensive half, AFC Portchester, looking for that ball over the top for what I think was Marley Ridge arriving down the left-hand side. They just need to find some way, unlock the door that has been, well, very, very firmly shut so far in this game. Again, long ball over the top, looking for the two target men. Again, comfortably dealt with by the Stoneham backline, and that's the biggest compliment you can give to not just the back four, but the goalkeeper as well, looking very, very composed. Sampson trying to wriggle his way through, but unable to do so. But another misplaced pass from the AFC Portchester team, and the ball finds itself at the feet of Owen Fee into Alex Welch. Marauding down this right-hand side, once again is Fee, falls over with the ball in between his feet. And somehow Stoneham still have possession of said football. Just trying to pass it around, trying to slow down the advances of the Portchester press. In the end, the side in orange managing to get possession of the ball back. Connor Duffin again, battling incredibly hard. Unsuccessful once more in his attempt to try and force the issue and find his way through.
That's right, another entry into the half, another change of possession, Stoneham keeping the ball. Just looking back at some of their previous results, Tom, Stoneham haven't conceded a goal in their last 5 games, and they haven't conceded more than 3 goals all season. So a possible comeback for Portchester isn't looking likely.
No, it's not, and there was so much symmetry between these two sides coming into it. We thought it was going to be really tight. The two fixtures this season as it goes out for another throw-in. Not quite as comfortable in possession as they have been so far in this half. But yeah, 2-0-0 scorelines, both sides unbeaten in 19 games. We thought we were going to get an absolute barnstorm. What we have had is maybe a bit of a hangover for AFC Portchester after being crowned champions. And that's just leaked into this cup final. They weren't at the races in the first half. They have been better in the second 45, but still sat goalless for the side in orange, and still sat 3 goals behind. And a stat that they won't like to hear is that AFC Stoneham haven't lost a game inside 90 minutes in their last 48 matches. And if they're going to break that record, it's going to be very difficult. On the edge of the area, trying to maybe just catch Mothorpe out. Was Orvis who came on recently, but the shot was tame. But as was that goal kick, Alex Welch trying to get a bit of possession, but the header down wasn't particularly good, and that's a loose touch as well. Brett Pittman, just another call of disappointment and anguish from the Portchester players. They're unable to again fashion this opportunity. It's Duffin and Pittman who haven't quite been able to get a stranglehold on this game. Launched forward, Martins does really well to hold the ball up, but Sampson wasn't quite there to capitalise on his physical effort just inside or just outside the 12-yard box, making some decent inroads down this left-hand side. Pittman. Duffin standing offside, not for the first time in this match so far. Back into the midfield. Oh, contact there, Duarte Martin, sorry, giving away a bit of a cheap free kick. Smashed forward. Is this the opportunity to try and find his target man? Clack beating his man on this right-hand side. Is he going to take it to the byline, or is he going to try and come inside? Fancy flicks, fancy flip-flaps, all the way to the byline now. Can he swing a ball in? Well, smashed it into the side of Sampson, who was doing his defensive duties. And that will once again go out for a Portchester corner. Less than 20 minutes of normal time to go. And this is almost brain in a jam jar time now if you're wearing orange. Smashed in, headed clear. Finds its way again to the Portchester side. Goes back out to Clack, I believe it is, on the right-hand side. Marley Ridge in the middle. They just need to get one opportunity. Flick round the corner. Picked up again. Pinballing around just outside the Stoneham box. Taking it out wide. Plays it back to Captain Cowan. Ball goes in, headed clear. Finds only the Portchester midfielder this time. Well, if there was any doubt about what his intentions were there, now you know. Smashed.
Watch out for feet.
Smashed into the defensive half. Fee, like he said, coming together. Not sure who it is, but giving away a free kick in his attempts to try and make his way into the opposition half.
Yeah, Fee's pace nearly got past that Portchester defence and maybe get onto that ball, but unfortunately his running path crossed the back of the Portchester defender, giving away the free kick and denying Stoneham a chance for that fourth.
Clack back on this right-hand side, trying to make inroads, not for the first time. Samson doing his defensive duties very, very nicely, the number 11. Captain Cowan. Can he find anybody? Smashes it into Orvis. Oh, that's a lovely bit of skill, though, from Clack. Can he try and make his way into the box? He's got players to deal with on his inside and his outside. We take it to the byline once again. Fancy flicks, crossed in with the left foot. Going for the overhead kick. Just smashing thin air was Connor Duffin. And cleared only as far as Marley Ridge, I believe that is. Ball goes in once again, back post. Unable to get that long, long outstretched right foot to it. They're starting to bang down on the door. They're running out of time, but Portchester starting to turn up in this game.
Now Portchester are starting to have a bit of freestyle, a bit of razzmatazz with some of these chances. The skills coming out. Bit of last opportunities to try and get those goals, try and salvage something in this cup final.
Because Taro Sampson is going to make way. He's worked very, very hard. But replacing him is Jamie Johnston, who in the very first match of this competition, where AFC Stoneham took on Totton and Ealing, they won it by 8-1, and a hat-trick went the way of Jamie Johnston. So if there was an opportunity for more goals, this man is certainly the person you want coming on with just over 15 minutes of the football match to go. Lee smashing this one out. But Portchester, yes, managing to get control of that. Clack arriving at a rate of knots, but will it be cleaned up just about? Still in possession is Marley Ridge. Finds its way to Duffin. Out again once more to Clack on this right-hand side. He's been successful trying to get these balls into the box. Cowan finding an opportunity. Marley Ridge trying to wiggle his way through, but ending up on his backside. Now Duarte Martins. Well, up with Wolfster and the number 6 centre half. Coming up on top in that little defensive duel as Martins tried to find his way in behind. Again attacking down this right-hand side, marauding. Ball smashed in, but ball smashed over the crossbar. And that is another opportunity that will pass by Portchester.
Now the right-hand side seems to be the way that Portchester are getting these balls into the box. Unfortunately, it's just that last pass or that last little bit of skill needed to try and get it to one of the attackers making their way from the edge of the box.
And this is where, if you're AFC Stoneham, you're living in absolute dreamland. 15 minutes of the final remaining. 3 goals to the good. And we spoke earlier about AFC Portchester entering the last chance saloon. They are now definitely sat down in the last chance saloon. Banging down the doors. Johnston got history in this tournament, already a hat-trick to his name, although hasn't scored any further goals in his 2 other appearances. That ball is going to make its way into the car park, and it's a throw-in in favour of AFC Portchester in their defensive half. And we are going to have another change, and it has been an incredible performance from Owen Fee. He's been the standout player for the side in purple. Huge round of applause as he exits the stage. And he's done an exceptional job. Anitz will replace him, and they'll be hoping with 15 minutes to go that he can have a similar impact on the rest of this football match. I think they're going to try the long throw in again, Portchester. But instead going back to the keeper. He smashes this one clear, and it's almost straight into the action there. Johnston on this left-hand side. He's got fresh legs, trying to get past 2 players. Gets past one of them, but can't quite make his way past the second. Battling though by the byline. Lackadaisical in the back 4. Gets the ball in. Will this find Duarte Martins with the header? Parried once, twice. Martins couldn't quite get back in there. And Mothorpe mopping up, but he was under serious pressure there. Just parried it ever so slightly. Did not have control at the football at first attempt, but just about managing to regain it and clutching it, grasping it to his chest very, very willfully. The goal kick's not particularly good, does find the Stoneham midfield, but Portchester again getting back control. They're starting to press for this. Need to find 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 goals in the remaining 12 minutes that we've got. It's unlikely but not impossible. Ball comes in, arriving at the front post. It's going to be a corner. There's Connor Duffin who's just starting to get involved a little bit more. It's not going to be a corner. He threw the ball to the corner flag, anticipating the call from the referee, but the referee said, "No, sir, that is a goal kick."
Good bit of acting there to try and win the set piece there for Portchester. Maybe in a bit of desperation, who knows, but the goal kick from Lee will put the ball back into the Portchester half. Maybe another chance for Stoneham to get a goal.
And it's ended up costing them a little bit of time as well. It's given Stone the opportunity to waste a little bit of time. First substitution for Portchester. I'm surprised this hasn't come earlier, to be honest. Marley Ridge is going to make way. And Ollie Davis taking to the field, and he needs to be some serious substitution. He's going to have to make some impact coming off the bench. Marley Ridge has been involved but hasn't quite been able to make the killer breakthrough. Has just been missing that killer instinct in this game. Hasn't quite been able to worm and duck and weave in behind that Stoneman defence that have been, for the most part, absolutely rock solid. Opportunity again, but loose in possession is going to go out for a throw-in, caught wonderfully by the AFC Portchester coach there. Good hand, sir. It will be the orange side taking the throw-in, but thrown straight to, well, I think he's Cluett out there on the right-hand side. Goes out for another throw-in as the wind begins to pick up with just over 10 minutes remaining. That could have a bit of an impact on proceedings. Portchester have had a nice bit of possession. Ball goes into the middle, looking for either Duffin or Pittman, the two target men in the centre. Neither of them able to meet the ball with their heads. And again, this one going to get smashed in. Looking for that opportunity, but exasperation on the face of Charlie Williamson, who tried to find that ball in, and all he found was a player dressed in purple. We are coming up to the point of no return now. 10 minutes of this final remaining, flicked on. Duffin was kind of there at the back post, battling away. Can he try and regain possession? He does. It's a little bit messy on this right-hand side. Ball goes across the face of goal, but Brett Pittman couldn't quite stick his boot out and nestle it into the back of the net. And that is a lifeline for Stoneham, because that was a serious opportunity.
It's a great bit of play there, whipping the ball in low, but there was only one option in the box, and unfortunately it just missed him. Oh, here we go. Ball comes to 11. Ooh.
Easy as you like. That is bread and butter for Callum Lee. I think they're going to just take a little bit of time here. They know the situation, they know the magnitude of the occasion. First appearance in this final. And as AFC Portchester did 1 year ago in their first appearance in this final, they won it. And Stoner could be doing the same. Wriggling past the back line is Martins. Can he try and keep this ball in play? No, smashes into the advertising boardings, and it will be a goal kick for AFC Portchester. Mothorpe, who hasn't had as much to do in the second half as he did in the first. It's been a little bit more even, it has to be said. Portchester have managed to regain a nice little bit of control. We saw it slightly earlier in the game. In the first sort of 5 or 10 minutes, they had a nice bit of possession, but from minute 10 to minute 45, the only colour that you wanted to be seen in was purple. Ball smashed across. Can it find Clack? That's not a particularly good head. A little bit of indecision from Lee. In the end, making the right call and grabbing that ball to the chest. Chest and ball then fall to the ground. And that is the attack fizzling out once again. It was Clack who's been very lively in this second half, having to try and make opportunities from right back and from inverting into the middle of the park. Down goes Wolfster. I think he's got a bit of a problem. He's not happy in the slightest. Referee blows. He definitely doesn't look very happy with that, and I think he's going to need a little bit of treatment here.
Falling awkwardly there, and hands being waved over even by the Stoneman players, so hopefully he'll be all right.
Yeah, hopefully you'd think it was just a little bit of cramp that's built up, because they have played a lot of football, these players, over recent weeks and months, but that is something more serious, then we do hope that is not the case, because he's been all over the place, hasn't he? Wolfster. He's been much more solid in this second half, had some really good battles, not just with Duarte Martins, but with Terrell Sampson when he was on the field of play, and managing to keep those two a little bit quieter in this second 45. This break in play will mean we will have a little bit more added time at the end of the fixture. The clock continues to tick down and the time continues to run out for the reigning champions to find a rite of passage back into this fixture. And as it stands, they are getting dethroned by one of their closest rivals.
Cam resuming in there on Connor Duffin. He's been unable to make a... Oh no, sorry, that's Brad Pittman. No, he's been unable to make any chances come through for Portchester so far. There we see the manager of Portchester, Gav Spurway, having a few words with his attacking cohort, maybe trying to find a little way to break through that Stoneham defence when we get back underway with the bits of play. The referee still having a word with the medical staff this time.
Yeah, Worcester still down, getting a bit of treatment, just being brought to his feet now. Definitely a problem with that left leg, potentially a little shin problem, maybe just the studs of another player going into the shin bone, and hobbles quite gingerly up and moving across the field. But I think maybe we were expecting a little bit more from Connor Duffin. He's been ever present in this competition for Portchester, 4 goals in his 4 appearances, but hasn't had too much of a sniff tonight. Had that lovely opportunity a few minutes ago to try and get 1 goal back. Has battled very, very hard as well. You cannot question the work rate of Portchester's number 9. Sometimes things just don't come off, and that's been the case tonight. Brett Pittman, something similar, hasn't quite been able to make the impact that he would have liked. And I'm also surprised that we haven't seen any more substitutions. Took until, what, the 80th minute for Portchester to make a change, considering they were 3-0 down at half-time. Would have thought the manager might have rung the changes. Worcester off on the side at the moment, so Portchester down to 10 as that ball is smashed out by Cowan. A little bit of debate going on here, and we are going to see that change. So Worcester does come off unable to continue. That is a real shame, because in the second half in particular he's been very, very strong. I think that is just a bit of sportsmanship going on there down on this right hand side, turning the ball over. Now, clock continuing to count down. Duarte Martins demanding the ball, flicked on nicely. Can they try and find a fourth to really put the sword into FC Portchester? It's the side Norwich that pick it up. Brooke in the centre of the park, plays it out wide. The touch is poor, bit of a bobble to be fair. Does manage to keep hold of it. All smashed in. Duffin out to Clack. Can he try and chase this ball down? Turn on the afterburners. Can he keep it in right at the byline? He does, but in turn giving possession away. Finds its way in. There was another player in support as Cowan now picks it up. Pittman on the ball, plays it out wide. Can they try and find that swirling cross into the box? Keeper came for it, didn't get there, is instead cleared by one of his defenders. Pittman and Duffin both in the mixer, but neither of them found with the cross.
Yeah, 2 great defensive headers there by Bainbridge, denying those chances from Portchester. One coming in from his left and then him able to clear the ball out to the right. But Portchester still with possession, still trying to make another attack. Ball comes over to the left, headed away.
They've recycled it much better, using the defenders to try and keep hold of the ball and not running into gaps that are quite obviously closing. Cowan, can he try and get a foothold in this from midfield with the captain's armband on? He'll try and spark something in these final 5 minutes or so. We will have some injury time added on. As Mothorpe looking for the man out on the left-hand side. Another good defensive header away, out for a throw-in. Taken dutifully by AFC Portchester. Duffin on the ball, trying to make something happen from deep. Smashes it into the legs of the Stoner defender. Johnson now clears. Looking for the knockdown, but Martins couldn't quite get there. The ball just missing him in the air, and now running past it also. Bainbridge trying to get involved, just trying to press this Stoneham attack late on, but they continue to come down this left-hand side. Having once again to go backwards, perhaps to go forwards. 87 minutes on the clock. It's now or it is never. And it looks like AFC Portchester are going to be deposed as champions. Ball into the box, comfortably headed away. Finds the man that crossed it in. He's going to get a second bite at the cherry. This time it's low. Falls to Duffin. Calls for handball. And they've been accepted. And that's going to be a Stoneham free kick. Duffin not happy about that at all. He just found an inkling, maybe, a possible opportunity to try and get one goal back. Maybe start a bit of a cascade, but instead it's Stoneham with possession of the ball in their own box.
Leaving the pitch, number 9, Martins. To be replaced by number 19.
As Martins, the hero in the semi-final, makes way with just a couple of minutes remaining of this game. He's put in a real shift. All of those front three for Stoneham did really well. Terry Sampson, Duarte Martins, and of course Owen Fee, who was absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, both Fee and Martins, who have now made their way off the pitch, played a big role in those goals that happened in the first half. Martins, whenever the play has come back down this left-hand side, has been able to use his strength to out-muscle the Portchester defenders to keep the ball in his possession.
We're getting into the final moments now, coming up towards the 90th minute of 90, waiting for the call of how many minutes will be added on. The boys in orange will be hoping that it's more than 5, but I do find that slightly unlikely. Long throw in from Stoneham. Looking for somebody to come through. It was Johnson. Can he try and get control of the ball? The answer is a firm no, but back to Welch, who heads it forward. Still in there. I think that's Orvis. Now smashed in on the right-hand side, but can't quite get to that one. Stoneham will have a corner right at the end of the second half. They can take as long as they want realistically here. And it should be Orvis to take this one. They haven't brought too many men forward, not surprising at all. Do not want to get counter-attacked and give Portchester an inkling that they might be able to get back into this tie.
Referee blows his whistle there to tell Stoneham to speed up the play. The ball's been down in that corner for a fair while now.
Get on with the game, I think, is the message being reiterated. Ball comes in now. Can they add a fourth? Put the nail in the coffin. Another unsuccessful corner, but still held on. Down his left-hand side, battling very hard. Does really well, the defender. And we have the call of added time, and it is 4 minutes. So they need almost a goal a minute here. And James Phillips, the Stoneham gaffer, will just be hoping that his side can see this one through. Coming together there, and that's going to be a yellow card for a high boot, a high challenge. And that's the second yellow. And that is an early shower.
Connor Duff in there, I think it was for his reaction after the chance. I believe he thought that there was a high boot from the Stoneham defender, and his reaction has given him a second yellow. 2 yellows have become a red.
Yeah, I thought that was a foul in favour of Portchester because of the high boot, but in the end it's Portchester's number 9 making way as the clock strikes 91. And with just 3 minutes to go, down to 10. And this defence of the title could not have gone worse, really, for AFC Portchester. They are going to be dethroned unless we see one of the most miraculous final few minutes that we have ever seen. And that will make it 270 minutes without scoring against these boys in purple. Incredible defensive effort. This will be 6 clean sheets on the spin for AFC Stoneham. 13 goals scored, none conceded in their last 2 games. That is absolutely outstanding and befitting of the soon-to-be champions. Bit of a mistake at the back there, but Mothorpe is going to smash that one clear. Still getting very chaotic. Working their socks off still right up until the last minute. You can't really question the work rate of any of the players on the pitch. They battled incredibly hard for the side, for the club, for the fans. But that first half blitz, that's really been the difference between the sides. It's been pretty even in this second 45 minutes. That half an hour spell where Stoneham were completely dominant in the first half. 1, 2, 3 goals. And that could be a first Senior Cup final championship. And they try and get salvage a late goal. Doesn't look like it thus far. And Stoneham now just need to be relaxed and hold on to this heavy, heavy 3-0 scoreline. These will feel like the longest minutes of their entire life. Eventually they will come to a close. Clack, who I have to say has been really, really good in this second half of Portchester. Inverting into the midfield once again, trying to find any space to make something happen, maybe a consolation goal so they can send the fans home slightly happier than they would have been. Haven't seen too much of Harrison Brook in this second half. Luckily a little dummy there from Cowan as he sends it back to his defenders. Long ball launched in, trying to start this miraculous comeback. We're into the 94th minute now. Running out of opportunities, bit pinballing going on. Absolutely nobody is back, and this is a huge opportunity to make it 4-0. The weight of the pass from Johnson not quite right there though. Still coming down this right-hand side. Will he play it inside? Yes, he does. There is support arriving from the edge of the box. Johnson on the left-hand side. Will he try and curl this round the defender? He skins the defender, he smashes it in. Palmed, parried, and eventually cleared by Mothorpe. It's Johnson that finds it again though. We're in the dying embers of this game. Ball across the face of goal. Only finds the Portchester defenders. And it is the pride of the Perps coming out on top. A first appearance in the final and a first half blitz. They scored once, they scored twice, they scored thrice. And they have dismantled the reigning champions who have been deposed, but deposed gracefully with these beautiful scenes at full time. And after Portchester last year, in their first appearance in the final, were crowned victors, Stoneham have repeated the feat 12 months on.
Now the biggest cheer of the night was just rung out just there, Tom. The whole ground seemed to be on their feet, celebrating the fact that Stoneham have pulled off a miracle. They've been able to pick up their first Hampshire Senior Cup, the trophy, 3-0 win in the end. Quite the contrast from the noisy Portchester fans in the first half. Now that army of orange is quite silent as they watch their team unfortunately come away not getting the double this time round.
High fives all round. High fives, handshakes, and high points for a lot of players' careers. Fantastic performance. It was very even in the second half, but to be honest, Stoneham didn't really have to get out of second gear once they got that 3-0 lead. They were absolutely dominant in a half an hour spell between minutes 10 and 45. And that, in the end, will be the difference maker. And it was that front three that were absolutely deadly. Duarte Martins, Tyrell Sampson, Owen Fee. Not just working their socks off for themselves, working their socks off for the team and the fans to get this result over the line.
No, Stoneham have been hot on Portchester's heels throughout this season in the league, and they would have been upset last week when Portchester were able to get that late on goal and be able to guarantee themselves the league win. Hot on their heels though, the bragging rights in the cup go to Stoneham. They've been able to pick up the victory here tonight.
Totton and Ealing, Hartney Whitney, Cow Sports, Winchester City, Hamble Club, AFC Portchester, the sides that Stoneham have put to the sword. 20 goals scored in this run to the final, including the 3 today, spread across 15 different goal scorers. Absolutely fantastic team effort from all of them. You can see what it means in the huddle. Manager James Phillips telling how much this means to him, his players, the fans, the club and the wider audience. And it's been an absolutely spectacular display from the side in purple. They've been brilliant. Zach and Chloe, it wasn't quite the close battle that we thought it might have been, but your champions are AFC Stoneham.
Well, what a result that is for AFC Stoneham. They came in as the underdogs, but they certainly delivered. What a superb result. Chloe, what is your first thoughts on the game?
I mean, yeah, what an exhilarating match. Obviously, Portchester were the title defenders. Obviously, Stoneham came in as a little bit of the underdogs, but yeah, what an exciting match. And yeah, obviously Stoneham came out on top.
Not much to report on for that second half. Unfortunately, there was a red card for AFC Portchester, however, but not much to report on. Jamie, I'm going to come to you. What a result that is for Stoneham. It couldn't have gone better for them, could it?
Not much more. I mean, you look at that, you beat the team who beat you to the title in such a dominant manner, and you held that lead the whole time. You didn't concede to the highest scorers in the league. What more could you really ask for?
And obviously both games were 0-0 coming into this. Not much was expected. A lot of people were wondering whether it was going to be like the reverse 2 fixtures, but they came out on top and they did the business early and they held on for the second half. Well, they could have done more.
No, absolutely not. I mean, 3 games against Portchester this season, not 1 goal conceded, and they scored something like 120 goals in those 38 matches in the league. That's 3 a game. Those 3 games would be 9 or 10 goals usually for them, and not one for Stoneham they conceded. So you just have to be impressed by that defence.
Absolutely. And Jack, I'm going to come to you. Commiserations. I can only apologise, but you have to give it to Stoneham. They played well today.
Yeah, like I said, second half was a bit of a. Stoneham didn't really want to come at us. We huffed and puffed, didn't create a massive threat. But like I say, damage done was first half. Yeah, the boys are going to be frustrated. Like I said, they was all disappointed with the way it fell apart, I think, towards the end of that first half. That's where it went, those 2 goals. And I'm going to, again, be on about it. I feel the frustration is not necessarily how they performed, but more the 3 officials. And that's the way I feel. And I think most of the people that watched from a neutral Portchester point of view believe as well.
Absolutely. Well, we'll come and watch the goals in a few minutes. We'll replay over them. I'll get you two to get your thoughts on them. But there was a red card. What can you tell us? I actually missed it. What was your point of view from it?
So Connor's gone up, Duffers has gone up for the header and kind of turned his back in, but backed in a little bit. It's a contact sport. I don't really know much more else. I'm a defender myself. If the striker does that to me, you get on with it. They've appealed. The ref couldn't wait to chuck the cheese slice at him, as I would say, and he was gone. Harsh, but that's what he's done.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate time for AFC Portchester, but you're going up as league champions, so you've got a lot to look forward to next season.
Yeah, massively. It would have been nice to back to win Hampshire Cup, obviously. But yeah, the boys have had a brilliant season. This isn't going to define our season. So we've won the league. We've got 2 more cup finals. We've got another cup semi-final to go into. So yeah, we've got a lot more to look forward to, as well as going into next season.
Speaking of the other competitions that you've still got left, do you think that you are going to let this loss affect you in terms of the other competitions you've still got, or do you think it's kind of going to be a brush off your back type of situation, get on with it?
No, not at all really. I feel we'll move on. I think we'll wake up tomorrow, we'll probably go into training Thursday, ready for Fareham on Saturday. So last league game season, we want to go on a high, win that, and then focus on the cup semi-final next Tuesday.
Absolutely. Well, I believe we now have the goals ready, which we are going to run through them for you and have a look at the goals that sent Stoneham to the champions of Hampshire.
And their choices, number 10, Owen Fee of AFC Stoneham.
Just a recap.
Well, it was a superb goal for AFC Stoneham. They did the damage in the first half. That's all they needed to do. They didn't need to do any more. They defended well in this second half, and I believe it was 3 quality goals.
Absolutely. I think that brings down a big team. Both teams are big, but that sort of kind of dominance and the shock factor, absolutely. I don't think Portchester came here thinking they were going to get dominated that early, and that knocks you off your feet. And although they've been great this season, if you don't have to come back many times, it's hard to get yourself. The ego's in the head thinking we're too good, we always win. That's not being activated here because they're not winning, they're not ahead, and therefore they have to dig deeper. And when they've done so well, do they have that ability to dig as deep as they need to come back from a 3-0 loss?
And who would you say if you had to pick one player of the match today for Stoneham, who would it be?
I mean, Duarte Martins was great. He didn't get a goal, but I think you look at Owen Fee. I think we were watching over there, and you just it's like it felt like magic sometimes watching him. As much magic as you can have at this level, but it seriously was the highest quality that I saw on this pitch today, and he contributed in almost every single way you wanted in that first half. And I did his job in the second half. They didn't concede, so
absolutely. Well, he dragged his team to a victory today. I believe I've just seen him, and he's picked up the Man of the Match award. As you say, must be very much deserved. But what a day we've had so far. So we've still got, here we go, we've got the AFC Stoneham winners now coming through. We're going to watch the trophy lift, and it's a well-deserved performance, I must say, from AFC Stoneham. They did the business in the first half, they didn't need to do any more than that. Chloe, what a result for them.
Absolutely. I mean, they've never been in a Hampshire Cup final before, and they obviously came second in the West Six Premier League, so great season for them. It'll be really interesting to try and grab one of the players and have a chat and see if this is going to springboard them for next season, see where they can end up.
Well, absolutely, and obviously they came second. They still got 90 points though. They lost one game all season in the league. They have absolutely smashed it. They're so unlucky to not go up. It's only because AFC Portchester have been so good. That is the reason why they're not winning the league.
Yeah, both of the teams have been really consistent. I mean, Portchester with 100 points, Stoneham with 90 points, and then third place came all the way down to 72 points. So you can just tell that they are in kind of a league of their own, really.
And here we go for the trophy lift. A well-deserved victory for AFC Stoneham at the unfortunate peril of AFC Portchester, but it'll be the captain to lift the trophy for them.
Very well-deserving moment for Stoneham.
Brilliant scenes here.
Especially just the classic underdog story.
Again to AFC
With
Stoneham. We'd like
Stoneham.
to thank all of you for coming out this evening. Have a safe trip home.
Well, what we're going to do, we're going to try and get a player from AFC Stoneham, but we don't want to disrupt them too much from their celebrations. But we'll see what we can do. But in the meantime, I'll go back to Jack. Again, unfortunate result tonight. But what's the message for next season? I know you've got a few more games. You've got a game this weekend, I believe, Saturday. What's the message to go into next season?
The league, what we've done all season in the league for the last 37 games, this hasn't defined us. We got a big season next year. League up, this club's Portchester never been at step 4. So we've got a lot to look forward to, like I say. We've lost today. Stoneham, fair play to them. Yeah, they've won the game. They carved us open when we was all over the place and erratic. They took their chances. This isn't going to define us. And like I say, we've got stuff to work on. We've got things to work on, and we'll be back next year better than what we have been this year.
Well, absolutely. But what's the message going into Saturday to win, to get a result and to get back to a positive mindset? It's unfortunate today, but what's the message from the gaffer?
Like I say, we've played 37 games this season, lost one game in the league. Let's make sure that by the end of Saturday, it's still one defeat in the whole season. One defeat in 38 games and 4 draws is a brilliant season. Okay, lost on the Hampshire Cup final. Yeah, it's hard to take, but we move on. The message would be we're playing our rivals at their place. Last game of the season, let's make sure we take 3 points and finish on 103 points, which I think puts us up with a few big sides that have only achieved that before. Not many have achieved that in the league. So,
absolutely. Well, we're going to go to our very special guest here. How are we today? What's your first thoughts after that win?
Yeah, just delighted. Yeah, over the moon. We said before, obviously, prestigious competition. 106 years we've been going and never reached this round. So, yeah, over the moon.
It's just, you came in today as underdogs. You've come second in the league after an absolutely unbelievable season. 90 points, 1 loss. How much does it mean to get something from this season, which is just deserved?
Yeah, no, I think they do deserve it. Like I said before the game, Portchester have been even better than we have. We've had too many draws this year in the league. We know we've, obviously not managed to keep up with these guys because they've just been relentless. But yeah, for us to get our first bit of silverware is really, really pleasing.
And what's the message going into next season?
Got a long way to go yet. Obviously, we've got playoffs to come, a couple of cup finals yet. So we'll think about that one in the summer.
Absolutely. Well, if you go up, you've got the positive mindset now. How important is it to get this victory to then go into the playoffs with that mindset, knowing you've won, knowing you have the ability to beat the best of the best?
Yeah, no, like you say, momentum is huge in football. Both teams have been consistent throughout the whole season, and like I said, we've been pushing them all the way, really. But yeah, it's hopefully a step forward. We've obviously got a long way to go, as I said, but yeah, it's a good step forward.
Well, congratulations. Superb. And we are now joined with Owen Fee, man of the match, goal. Congratulations. Well done. What are your first thoughts after that victory? Just wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice night. We've played really well as a team. I think overall we're the deserved winners. We said at the start, Porter are a good team and it was going to be a good game, but I think on a pitch like this, we like to play football, and that's what we did tonight. So.
Absolutely.
And at the start of the season,
Yeah, I mean, our intentions are to win everything. We want to win everything. Porch, didn't slip up. They've won the league, fair play to them. But, we want to now go and win our 3 cup finals. We want to win the playoffs, and that's our aim. So.
and was there a turning point at any point in the campaign when you were like, hang on a moment, we could actually do this?
Yeah, listen, when we see our draws, we go game by game, and when it comes to big games, we step up, and that's how it is. And I think that tonight we showed that we can do it, and we're going to go into the next game saying we can win the next game, and we want to win the playoffs, we want to win the next finals. So yeah, that's how it is.
Well, congratulations. Your goal today, I must say, wow, superb. But congratulations. Wish you best for the playoffs. And gentlemen to my right, Jamie, thank you very much for today. Jack, thank you. We really appreciate your time today. What a day for us today. A superb game.
Yeah, what an absolute night for Stoneham. They've absolutely smashed it. Obviously, being able to finally get that Hampshire Cup final under their belt. And join us tomorrow when we do watch the Women's Cup final. But yeah, all from us tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.